All in favor, please note by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Again, thank you all for joining us. Many of you will be at the table. Dr. Armakeep will call you up and let you know when to join us at the table. But again, thank you for arranging this. I think one of the things we've talked about with the community engagement is we went straight to we want the board meetings to be in community, but then we did a little back step and said we actually probably should introduce the community, our board, to the community so we know all the partners that we currently have and the ways in which we're already partnering. It is still my expectation that the board will do the second step too, which is physically be engaged in community with our partners. So for those of you who reached out to me, there's several in the audience today who said, please, please, please let me come. So I'm glad you are here and have agreed to share with our board members. I will say this is our committee, but please note all of our board meetings are archived on YouTube, and so board members are like myself. When I'm not at a meeting, I generally go back and listen to our YouTube. So do know that all of our colleagues who aren't here today are excited and interested in the work that you're already doing with our district, and hopefully will understand more, but also it's also your opportunity to ask us questions as well. So, and we'll kind of facilitate that as we have each group come up. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Johnson-Husser. Appreciate it. And a special shout out and thanks to Chief Luton and Dr. Maria Rosa Regal, who helped us invite these community partners here today so that you all could hear their perspectives. Our goal today is to share information about local community organizations, including some of our large regional partners, as well as some specific partners that serve the Hispanic Latino community. As you know, at a previous community engagement meeting, we had a great conversation with representatives of the Raleigh Panhellenic Council about what is specifically offered to our Black students and community members and families, and so we want to have a similar conversation today as our second desired outcome about what is there for our Hispanic Latino communities. We're going to get started first with talking about some of our larger local community partnerships, which includes YMCA of the Triangle and Boys and Girls Clubs serving Wake County. So I'm going to ask Matt and Kim to come up and join us at the table and bring around some things that I'm happy to do that for you, Kim. We can bring around some things that they have for you all. Yes. So that they can share. Thank you both for being here. We'll start just first with introductions. Matt, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Sure. Hi, my name is Matt Tolliver. I'm the president and CEO. Good to see you again, Dr. Taylor. President and CEO of the Boys and Girls Club serving Wake County. And hopefully as of this week, we are also, we're going to add serving Johnston County into that. So we're going to be opening up 2 sites down there. And I've been in this role for a little less than 2 months, so it's great to see all of you, and so happy, and thank you so much for allowing me to come in this morning. Appreciate it.
Go ahead, Kim.
Yeah, and I'll echo Matt's thanks. My name is Kim Keith. I serve as the Vice President of Youth Development for the YMCA of the Triangle. Our YMCA serves Wake County as well as 5 other counties here in the central part of the state, as well as Pamlico County down at the coast of North Carolina.
Thank you. And Kim, would you like to share about your work first?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Many of you are familiar with the work of the Y, but I thought today I'd highlight some of the programs that we work specifically in partnership with the school district, as well as some of our programs that serve your students that you might be less familiar with. And so the first couple of slides here just really talk about the YMCA's approach to serving youth, and that is positive youth development. So we believe that when you have character development in your programs, along with some strong social emotional learning or mental well-being skills and curriculum, along with staff that are trained in those things and model character development and SEL in positive environments, that is what produces positive outcomes in youth. And that philosophy is around positive youth development, which you'll see there. Kind of the core programs that we offer. We have before and after school in many schools across the county, and I'll talk about that. Track out camp, summer day camp. We have a lot of academic support programs that we run in partnership with you all. We have middle and high school leadership development programs, so we engage middle and high schoolers in leadership development, volunteerism, skill development. We have a civic engagement program that serves high schoolers that might be less familiar to you all, called Youth in Government, that we partner with many high schools across the district. And then we are doing a lot more in the mental health space, and Matt and I were just talking about that. We've done a lot of that in partnership with Poe Health Center and with the Boys and Girls Club. So our before and after school programs, each slide kind of just gives you an overview of the program. We serve between 5,000 and 6,000 students here in Wake County in our before and after school programs. We have 67 after school locations and 49 before school locations across the district. Those are all in partnership with community use. So I work really closely with Chief Luton and her team in the community use department. So those are all programs where we partner with you all to rent facilities to provide paid for before and after school care for families with working parents who need childcare. Our curriculum in those programs is around, again, SEL, skill development, healthy living, leadership development, and strengthening community. And so those are the elements that we bring in to all of those programs. The other thing I like to highlight about many of our programs is that we are one of the largest employers of your high school students in the district, in the county. I started at the YMCA as a high school senior at Leesville High School, and I'm still there 25 years later. And that's a story that is pretty common when you meet people in leadership positions across the Y. Moving on, our YMCA Excel After School is a new program that we've just started in the last 2 years. We've been trying to figure out the best model to serve Title I schools. Our normal fees that we charge can often be too high for those families, and even though we offer financial assistance, we know that not all families will ask for help who need help, and so we're trying to figure out the right business model to offer there. We have a Y Learning program, which I'll talk about in a second. That's not quite the right fit in some schools. Our typical after school is not quite the right fit. So in the Garner and Knightdale areas, we've been kind of testing this new YMCA Excel After School where we're charging a lower rate, but we're trying to figure out how to make that work. And so I think there's an opportunity there to talk in the future about what that looks like long term. Our Excel programs are our academic support programs. Y Learning is one of those. We have 36 program sites during the school year that are YXL sites and 18 summer program sites. Not all 18 of those summer sites are in Wake County, but probably 15 of them are. And we serve about 3,000 students through these programs. Y Learning is our after-school academic support program. We serve about 900 students. We work with about 35 schools here in Wake County. We employ your teachers in an after-school job. They come in and we use curriculums that are part of your approved interventions, mainly focusing on literacy. So we've used the HELPS intervention, Haggerty, Story Explorers, which is another literacy program offered by the HELPS Education Fund. And so we, again, serve about 900 students in those programs, really, again, focusing on literacy and helping kids who are kind of behind in literacy get ahead. And that's all done in partnership with the principals. So that program, we used to come in and we had a standard curriculum and this is what we offered. And we've really transitioned over the last 2 years. Many of you have met Dr. J.D. West, who has joined our team, who is a former principal from Johnston County Schools. And she's really helped us kind of align more with individual principals' school improvement plans and really helping them tailor the program to meet the specific needs of their school. And so that's something that we are continuing to work on and are always welcome to hear feedback on how we can continue to strengthen that program offering. But we feel like there is a need for after-school academic support. It's just figuring out every school has some different priorities and how do we support those priorities. So from our Y Learning programs, 100% of the students that participated last year demonstrated an improvement in reading fluency and increases in the number of words read correctly per minute, and 84% exceeded expected growth based on national norms. So our Power Scholars program is the next one I'll talk about. Many of you are familiar, and I don't know, Ms. Rice got to see it this summer. We hosted this program. It's a 5-week program. We hosted at Bug Elementary, which served Bug and Poe elementary schools. And then we were also at Riverbend Elementary, serving Riverbend and Fox Road. This program employed all of the teachers there, our Wake County Public School teachers, who worked for us during the summer. We actually had so many staff want to work at the program that we had to start a waiting list because what we have found is that the program is just really fun and the teachers get really excited about the morning is some academic curriculum. It's based in science of reading, and we co-locate the program with Read to Achieve, so kids who are attending Read to Achieve camp are also at the site with the Power Scholar sites, but they have the literacy instruction in the morning, they also get some math, and then in the afternoons they have enrichment. And the teachers love planning the enrichment and get really excited about that. We had things from pickleball to chess to yoga. I mean, there were all kinds of fun activities that happened this summer. And you can see there, there's some statistics there on slide 11 about the program, but 100% of the staff said that they established caring, consistent relationships with youth. 98% of the families felt that they were involved in their child's program experience. So we had an open house before the program and a celebration at the end that a little hurricane tried to ruin, but we persevered right there at the end of the program. And then the academic gains, students gained a month and a half of math and 2 months of literacy. And actually the scores for this program, and this is something that I think everyone should be proud of because it was your teachers that helped lead the program, had the highest scores in the country this summer. So the company that hosts the program was calling us saying, what did you do? And we just said, we have really great teachers in Wake County. And so that was an exciting achievement for that program this summer. And you can see there we've separated some of the data for Riverbend and Bug as well. And then Camp Excel, again, many of you are familiar with, is our summer camp program. So I like to say that Power Scholars is like summer school with a little bit of camp. Camp Excel is camp with a little bit of summer school. So we offer about an hour of instruction a day. The kids have swim lessons and regular camp activities. There's family nights, opportunities to go on field trips. And then we do, like I said, an hour of instruction. And there's some data there on slide 15 from that program around belonging and confidence. So 92% felt confident in their reading skills at the end of the summer. 77% increased their reading score from the beginning to the end of the summer. So exciting program. And we serve about 1,500 students in that program. And that is also 5 of those sites are here in Wake County. So like Wakefield Elementary, West Perry Middle, they're spread throughout the county to kind of serve all of the different areas. As part of that Camp Excel program, we do a kindergarten readiness, and so we invite kids who are rising kindergartners come in, and we work really hard to help get them ready for kindergarten. So you can see some of the benchmarks there. 98% of them could recognize their name. By the end of the summer, 90% mastered the ability to write their name. I'm a former Wake County Public Schools kindergarten teacher, so all those skills that kids don't sometimes have coming into kindergarten, we're just trying to give them a little leg up. If they can come into school and they have the same skills as their peers, their confidence around learning is increased, and we start their school experience the right way. And so that's, Dawn Dawson actually came to see Power Scholars this summer, and we are talking about the possibility of adding some pre-K component to Power Scholars as well to serve some additional students. And then the last 2 things I'll mention, Camp Grace is a program that I don't talk about often when I'm in front of you all, but it's a program that serves kids with
about it a lot.
that serves kids with pervasive developmental disorders and autism. We have now 4 locations around Wake County. And it's an 8-week program, and kids get music therapy and yoga therapy, and it's really, really cool. And the families, as you all know, in the special needs community will drive anywhere to find services for their children. And so we are working hard to continue to raise funds to be able to expand that program as well.
And I will continue to extol Camp Grace. One of my kids went there, and after not fitting into a traditional camp, to be able to go to something like that was meant for her was phenomenal.
It's a pretty special
And
place.
so I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
Thank
We'll
you,
let
Ms.
you all have your soapbox up there.
And then the last thing I'll just say is that we We work really hard to see if there are opportunities where we can support you all and your teachers and staff. We try hard to do that. And so currently, we offer 100% off the joining fee to join a YMCA for any Wake County staff member. They just have to show their badge at the front desk. We do that in all of our school districts. We offer our member rates for before and after school care, so trying to make it more affordable for teachers and staff who need to access those programs. And again, offer financial assistance for anyone that needs it. And then we are also at the schools where we have before and after school programs for teachers that need to attend conferences or professional development experiences. We always offer the ability to serve their kids on those days. So always looking for opportunities to strengthen our support and partnership with you all as well. I don't know if you want to do questions now.
Let's do questions.
Okay.
Questions?
Thanks. Dr. Taylor, this is for you. So at our facilities meeting, we talked about the fees that these organizations, these two in particular, pay for our community use. And I'm very frustrated at what they have to pay. And I understand, the wear and tear on facilities, et cetera. But we were just told that they employ our teachers. They're the highest employer of our students. They clearly are supporting academics and getting results. We have got to make that better from the cost. Because these are, anyway, I believe, Lisa, you said that something is coming soon. Well, I don't know what that means, but ASAP would be
So what I can say
preferable.
is that you're absolutely right, and one of the things we've talked about is when we have partners like the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, that provide a specific service that is directly related to our students, then we know that we have the capacity to do something different. And so that is what we're working through with those recommendations, and I don't know where we are in terms of bringing them forward, but we've heard the board very clearly, very loudly, and there's all the opportunity to do what's best for partners that we have while still having the facility use at the normal rates that we would have for everybody else. One of the things I will add is that we do want to have we benefit our students. We also recognize that those rates are something that hadn't been looked at in, I want to say 20 years, but I might be
25, probably.
It's been a while. So this is the opportunity to really reset all of that and pay particular attention to partners that we know serve us in a specific way.
Great. And I know I'm not the only board member that feels that way, so I don't mean to, but that was top of mind as I was listening to what was being said. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So I was just curious, how does the Y work operationally? We have so many different Ys in the triangle, in the region, and many of us are familiar with the ones in our neighborhoods. How much of your programming, camp offerings, after-school programs, how many of those are kind of planned and coordinated at that specific, like the Findlay Y level versus at your district office?
So we are what I call a decentralized Y, which means I have a team of subject matter experts, myself, Dr. West, who you all met, who give direction and kind of cast strategy and help manage relationships. But the staff at the branches are the one who operate the program. So I work in close partnership with all of them. But we find that in order to best meet the needs of individual communities, having the staff who are boots on the ground in those individual communities, kind of designing programs, is really helpful. So it's a really strong partnership. And some of our programs, like Power Scholars, are operated out of our corporate office.
Yeah.
So that's my team specifically versus a Camp Excel, which is offered by the Taylor YMCA or the Findlay YMCA. But we all work together really closely.
So to follow up on that, if there is a school in our system that's looking for a partner on a particular program, they should contact their local.
They should start with me.
They should start with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I can help find the best. Some of our schools fall between two branches or two facilities, so it's easier for me to help kind of figure out where they should start.
And do you know about our community mapping database?
Yes.
And so everything is input,
Yeah.
is put in. been
I think
input.
so, and I work closely with Glenn Caruso too. Anytime there's, you know, new, yeah.
Kim
and
was
so-
one of the first to call me about this, Matthew.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Any other questions? So I do have a question in terms of selection of sites. So Garner has a new Y, so we have 2 schools, but they're actually hosted at 1 school, which technically makes sense. So for decisions, like, because I hadn't thought about it until a parent asked me, and I was like, that's a great question. I don't know how we decided that Creech Road students would go to Vandora and that the host site was actually at Vandora Springs.
So a lot of it's principal decision.
Okay.
So one of the greatest blessings and one of the hardest things about working with Wake County Schools
We're also
of the
decentralized. I mean, you use your
autonomy
word.
of principals. And so
We're going to go with decentralized, Kim.
yes, exactly. So we operate very similarly. And so it is really up to the principal and whether or not they want to host a program from the Y or from the Boys and Girls Club or Parks and Rec or any other organization. And then for us, it's a matter of if we can serve enough students to financially make it work, given, you know, rent, teacher pay, all the different things that we have to consider. And so that's what weighs into the decision. And I will say in Garner specifically, we're really struggling with enrollment, which is why we're trying this new program model. We've just got to figure out, and Lisa and I talk really closely about this, and she and her team are really supportive of helping problem solve and figure something out. But we've got to figure something out because there's a lot of need.
I literally just had a meeting last night about after-school programs in Garner. That's why it was fresh on my
Yeah,
mind.
yeah. And so we'd love to, and especially with y'all moving into Johnston County area too, like there's a lot of overlap probably with Garner families. I think we'd love to figure out a way that we can work together there while still making sure that things work for the district as well. Yep.
Any other questions? Well, it's a great tee-up for you with the new program, Joe Sausage in Garner. So you can start wherever you'd like.
Well, fantastic. And as I said, my name is Matt Tolliver. I'm the CEO of Boys and Girls Club serving Wake County and now Johnston County. When it comes to setting our youth up for success, my personal opinion is we are all in this together. We are all in the kid serving business. There are a lot of, and the Y included, phenomenal organizations out there that we all play our particular role when it comes to serving youth. For us at the Boys and Girls Club specifically, we are an after-school program. We don't have the before-school program. We have 8 different locations all across Wake County. And like I said, 2 more coming in Johnston. And traditionally, we have focused our locations where we see the highest needs, specifically when it comes from a financial stability standpoint. When you take a look at the members that come to our club, just shy of 90% are children of color, and north of 75% are on free and reduced lunch. Our goal at the club is to ensure, and by the way, we serve kids all the way from kindergarten up through age 18, right? And now and I'll talk about in just a second, our partnership with Wake Tech is beginning to expand a little bit post high school. But the programs that we run are focused around 3 different areas specifically, and they are academic success, character and leadership, and healthy lifestyles. The academic success piece is obviously key and near and dear to all of your hearts. The programs that we run in the clubs after school, I would dare say that there's not a child that leaves there unless their homework is done at the end of the evening. We run a program called Power Hour. We have our staff sit down and help. And in fact, one of my very first days that I came here, I went over to visit our girls club and sat down and helped 2 members with their math homework. I'm a previous math teacher, by the way, so that's a little bit of my background. But we want to make sure that we are giving these children all the tools that they need to succeed once they graduate from high school. We're open from roughly 2:30 in the afternoon, whenever the kids start showing up, until 8 o'clock. At night, and we only charge our members $7.50 per year to go to the club. And so, I mean, all of our funding has to come from, I say all, almost all of our funding comes from grants and donors. You know, it's. In fact, I just came this morning from our largest fundraiser. We had a breakfast and fundraiser this morning, and so I could sit here and tell you story after story after story in terms of. What, were you there?
I was.
It was a very emotional morning. But story after story of the impact that we have on youth. And there's one program in particular, which is called our Youth of the Year program, where it starts at the age of 14. You can apply to go into this program. It's a national program run by the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, whereby you compete to become your local Youth of the Year. Then you go to, the winner here locally goes on to compete at the state level. If they win in state, they go to the regionals, and then most recently I just attended the Boys and Girls Club of America's National Youth of the Year down in Atlanta, and I saw 7 of the most incredible teenagers give just gut-wrenching speeches about how the club has helped them stay on track and to succeed and thrive. I came from a Boys and Girls Club in Arkansas, where our Youth of the Year winner was one of the competitors down in Atlanta for the National Youth of the Year. And I think that the last total that I had was that she was going to have roughly $60,000 to $70,000 worth of college scholarships by the time, and it was probably even more than that now that she competed in nationals. And so it's the club has impact. But what these kids need the most is they need a caring adult, they need a caring mentor, and someone to say, I believe in you, and you can do whatever it is that you want. And we may not know when that exact conversation happens. It could be in passing, it could be sitting down beside them on the bleachers, but every single one of those Youth of the Year candidates that have gone through that program point to a staff member and they say, I'm here because of them. And they find that trusting mentor. We have very little turnover of staff at the club, and they find their person that they latch on to, and that person becomes their brother, their sister, their mom, their aunt, their uncle, whatever it happens to be, and that person is there for them no matter what. And so it's an honor and a pleasure to be associated with this program. We do offer our services year-round. We actually have we run all day during the summer, and we also have an actual summer camp. It's your traditional outdoor camp experience. It's north of 55 acres or so. It's where the kids get a chance to get outdoors. They learn how to row a canoe or paddle a canoe. And we have a swimming pool there. They learn how to swim. I mean, it's just a phenomenal experience. Many of these kids have never had an opportunity to be able to do so. So if we do our job right at the club, offering these children these experiences, the mentorship, helping with their homework, not only are they better students in school, but they're better students in life in general. We help them make good decisions. And so, I mean, we all understand that not every child is afforded the opportunity to have a stable household, a stable income, and food on the table. And that's the last thing I'll leave you with. In that, we are a USDA sponsor. So we feed the children every evening after school. We have a full-time, and she's a chef and cooks for our children, and we distribute the meals out to the kids at the clubs every single afternoon. So when they leave the club, their homework is done, they've been fed, and they received a caring adult that is encouraging them to succeed every single day. So I'll stop there.
Thank you. Questions?
No question, but the Breakfast of Champions was absolutely amazing today with the Sea of Blue. That was everywhere. It was really great to see numerous people speak and honored, and the crowd of folks that really support it. So it was great work that you've seen. I have friends that have become very successful over the years that were participants of the Boys and Girls Club. So it's always great to continue to hear their names echoed through speeches and things like that. So I just think that both programs do a really magnificent job with supporting our students, and you get to see it by them being the productive citizens that they've become from attending both the programs.
Wonderful. I did forget to mention two specific things. And you mentioned this as well, in terms of mental health is probably the new, I mean, we're in the midst of a youth mental health crisis, in my opinion. And the fact of the matter is that we can't do enough to meet these kids where they are, to help them to understand the trauma that they are experiencing or the trauma that they've been through. We just hired a full-time licensed social worker to be on our staff. We have interns who are going into the social work field to help to identify the children who have suffered from trauma, and we actually provide free counseling services to our youth at the club. And then the latest thing is, Dr. Taylor, you and I spoke about this a little bit, is a partnership we have with Wake Tech, whereby we are taking teenagers and teaching them the soft skills in terms of how to interview for a job, how to write a resume, what it means to show up to work on time, all the various different things. And then hopefully this fall we're going to be starting a program for paid internships with our local community partners where they can go and get a job. So we're just scratching the surface on those, but more to come on those two particular programs.
So I'm glad you brought up mental health, because that's one that when I've gone to both clubs now, the Garner one as well, that's come up. And the second one is, in addition, which I thought you'd say, because you definitely told me, is that the young person who came, or younger than me, person who came to speak to us was actually instrumental in helping those students get their driver's license that she
Oh,
was
yes.
at Wake Tech.
Yes, so we do offer for free to any of our high school or driver eligible students to take the academic written portion of their driver's ed, and we, I know is it not offered? It's just, it's tough to get into, I guess.
They're still
Yes,
looking
the
out of
labs.
COVID.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is a service that we do provide, and the teenagers and the parents for sure absolutely love that.
Thank you. Ms. Caulfield.
Thank you for that. I know I've been to the luncheons. They are very powerful. It's very hard. They should have to take the tissues in the middle of it. It's very, very heartfelt. Where do the families look for those that are listening? I know I've been up to the one in Wake Forest, and that covers like a broad amount of people. But how do they go to navigate? Who do they contact, and where do they reach out first?
So there are multiple, I guess, outreach points that, I mean, from a website, from a community, and I'll use actually the example of our Brentwood Club. Many of it is much of it is word of mouth because of the role that we play in the community. It goes from parent to parent, say, hey, did you know, blah, 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 whatever. But what I can say is this, is that and I'm, from where I came from in Arkansas, there was an opportunity whereby, and we didn't choose to use this very often, but when there are key points in time, the school district helped us to make sure that the parents knew about our services. They allowed us to put into, at least in Arkansas, it was called a Tuesday newsletter, a little flyer saying registration is open for us, and they allowed us to do that free of charge, and it was just something that was offered. We would love your help in getting the word out to make sure that parents know that the services are there if they want them, for sure.
And is there a registration time or period, or can they apply at any
They can
time?
apply anytime.
Okay.
Anytime. We're just now sending out, I mean, typically registration starts, I say starts, we do an annual registration that will go into effect in January, but parents can register any time throughout the year, for sure.
And I'm glad to hear that, because I know when I met in Wake Forest, they were talking about the new program with the mental health. So it's good to hear that they actually have staff for that now. With Wake Tech, they're starting to do that? They're just getting into it, or is that actually happening?
So we actually have an embedded Wake Tech employee working in our clubs, and so the whole social or the soft skill program has already been running. And her name is Cece. She's an absolutely incredible. Do you know Cece?
She's the one that came to speak to us, for those of you who may recall.
And so this fall, which hasn't kicked off yet, is the internship program. So that's to come.
And then I guess I have a question for us. Their driver's ed portion, we know that comes up often. That transfers over. Can they then take that from the Boys and Girls Club and then take our driving portion?
Yes, so it is a partnership. So again, the CC that I'm mentioning, she actually came during public comment to complain to us, and then she came back to tell us the work that they actually did because of Boys and Girls Club. And that was the outcome, is we weren't able to get all the students in. So she has quite an initiative and built that program out. So yes, it is not distinct and different from ours, but it was a huge asset to those students she was already working with.
So if they're part of the Boys and Girls Club and get that, they get just the certificate and they can take that to the high school and make an appointment to join the class?
It is fully
It is.
certified, yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Also, there are only 2 companies, so they're the same. Just saying. There's that.
Thank you.
Any
And
other
those that
questions?
are listening, I mean, it really is, if you ever just go and tour the club, I mean, the energy is unbelievable. It really is. I mean, I wanted to join. It's great. So for anybody listening, I think
We have to make
you
it
really
fun
need
too.
to.
The kids have to have fun, or they, because we make them do their homework, but it has to be fun when they come in.
Thank you.
There's so many other things that we could talk about. I know Ms. Evans and I must have done visits close in proximity because we both talked about it at the board table, but the mini certifications that you all are doing, I mean, there are a multitude of things. Again, back to Ms. Caulfield's point, for our board members and other people who may go listen later, that you all are implementing that directly benefit our students, that unless you're the parent or village of those students, you don't really realize what a huge benefit the services that you all do are, again, to the exact same what-in outcome, and that's, not our academics, but also, to your point, as I said when I met you all about the soft skills, I was like, oh, so you all are really doing the 4 C's through this program of ensuring that our students are truly, truly ready to go into what's for them is truly a global and international workforce. So we appreciate that, and thank you, Ms. Caulfield, for lifting up things that haven't been said, that it is important for our other board members to know, and the public as well, especially parents who are, again, looking for those services. And I'm going to ask you the same question because, again, I just visited the new Garner Club, and so what prompts you all to build or increase programming?
So growth and serve, the goal to serve more youth is, I mean, not only we believe in our program, nationally, I would say that for every 1 child in an after-school program, there's probably 2 or 3. So she just said 5. Okay, so there's a lot more waiting. We would love to serve more children than we do. My board and my staff, we have a desire to grow. Growth takes money, for sure. And when it comes to buildings, as everyone here especially knows, buildings require a lot of insurance and maintenance and utilities and any and all of the above. So every single time that, I mean, it costs, we actually showed this morning, about $1,500 per child per year to serve. So I have to, and one of the things the board has charged me to do is go out and figure out a different fundraising model to raise more money, but also can we find a more efficient way of serving the youth in the community? And I think a lot of that starts with your partnership and your help, because you already have the buildings, you already have, or what have you. What does that look like if we were to, and again, for future discussions, but about 60 to 70% of Boys and Girls Clubs units across the country are located in schools. And so I would welcome future conversations, because we want to serve more children just like everybody here does.
I'll say I gave him we had a conversation. I said, we've got 199 schools, so we're ready to really expand, but not quite that fast.
But yes, Ms. Caulfield, yeah, but definitely.
I'm noticing in the book it says that you have 402 volunteers. Do you have, I'm just thinking of like, volunteer hours and stuff for teenagers that are seniors? Do you take students to do that?
Great question. As of right now, as of today, the answer to that is no. And the reason why, as Boys and Girls Club of America, one of our policies is that there's a lot of training and background checks and various different things and hoops and hurdles that any or most organizations that serve youth go through. And so from the standpoint of interacting on a frequent basis with youth, right now it's 18 or above. What I will say is this, is that we're taking a look at how we can take advantage of more opportunities or offer more opportunities for those that are below age 18 to come in and do things because at the club, because I know that they have a lot to offer. It's just right now it's a transition period for us as we go through this, making sure that safety is the number one concern, or not concern, it's the number one priority that we have. And our policies right now is just 18 or above, just given the training that we have to put our staff through. We treat volunteers the exact same way as we do staff. They have to do the same training and background checks and everything as our staff do.
So we are a little bit different in that we do allow volunteers to our high school students. They're never alone with a child, and they don't take on the same responsibilities as staff, and they have to have reference checks and go through all of our training that we have for youth development staff.
What grade?
They get to work with elementary age students. They can be as young as 14. And then we have a couple, our Leaders Club programs are specifically designed around service. And I know they may not be able to volunteer with kids, but you still help kids in your high schoolers in your programs get volunteer hours.
Absolutely.
So, and we're the same. So same thing.
If you're a member, a teenager member, and you're involved in either our Torch or Keystone Club, the focus of those particular clubs is community service. Right, so they rack up their community service hours, and they elect their president and their vice president. And they decide where they're going to do their community service hours for sure. Yeah. But they're actually members instead of, I would call them members, not volunteers. Yeah. Right.
One of the things I'll say that we are fortunate in Wake County that we have still have community centers in many of our communities. But one of the things that again that I will highlight for you all as a fundraising idea is partnerships with other developers, because that's what you all did in Garner. The owner of that particular community was instrumental in ensuring that there was a place for young people in that community, which we know what that means in terms not just academic outcomes, but changes in community context and making sure kids have a safe space to be. And so for me, I think that was the first time I heard it described that way, of the actual owner of that community saying, please help us in our community. And I think that's a huge partnership. So again, you're new to Wake County, but I do think that that is a new space to start exploring, because so many of our kids don't have anywhere to go, and a lot of parents do work past 6 p.m., which I've talked about with both of you at length in my tenure on this board. But that's another space that I thought was really helpful, is that is particularly in a community.
For the services that both of our organizations provided, the children didn't have that opportunity to go to our after-school program. The parents have two options. Either one, they wouldn't work, or two, they would go home alone, right? And neither of which we want. So, and Parish Manor is a beautiful example whereby the needs of the communities, and the community spoke very loud, we need something here, and for sure, so.
You also get to ask us questions.
How can we get more teenagers involved in our programs? Post-COVID, teenage membership dropped like a rock. That's of all the clubs, and I don't know if the Y is the same way, but of all the things in terms of looking at the numbers, teenage participation in after school has dropped dramatically. And I would love any ideas that you guys have to re-engage with teens, and is it different services? Is it I mean, we have a teen center right there on Raleigh Boulevard. We have 25 or so teens that are coming every afternoon, but we have room for 80, and we're just trying to figure out how to fill it.
I wonder if transportation is also an issue, because that's been pretty pervasive, and they can't get their driver's license.
Well,
I meant it
many
with
of
the
us, yeah. I was about to say,
But-
actually, you
Well,
bring up a good point, Kim. There's a whole set of kids who are not interested in having their driver's
Anyone in
license.
my household.
Yes, but to your point, we've heard more about lack of being able to get those kids to those facilities for teens as well.
Yeah.
But I would say if we're seeing a drop, it's not like, if there still might have been transportation issues, but if there's a decline in the average number participating, you assume that those transportation challenges existed before the pandemic too.
No, actually, we stopped sending buses to there.
We stopped sending
We
them?
did.
Okay, that's an important point.
As a fact of matter,
Okay.
we did, actually.
Okay.
When we decreased our buses, we decreased the number of buses that go there.
See, I was
I only
thinking-
know because I got calls from parents.
I was thinking it was maybe more of just the cultural shift that we're seeing, that we have so many kids now that are just declining after-school activities, their social skills are kind of in decline, and the more that we can open them up to in-person experiences with other kids, the more they gravitate toward them, support them, and tend to be more active. But it's like we have to reintroduce another generation back to that kind of social skills and social skill development that they just missed out on.
I've been looking at some models for credit for learning too, just to try to figure out, because some of what we're finding is culturally parents are prioritizing academics. And so if they don't feel like the experience has a high enough academic marker, then they're not as inclined to get their kids engaged, yeah. So if we can figure out some kind of credit for learning, or there's lots of places around the country that do it, but that could be an opportunity for us to.
Great. Yeah.
If it may be a little bit more digital, a digital desire to come. Our teenagers are, I have a teenager.
God bless you.
I love him.
Me too.
He's one of the great ones. However, they're still the digital age that they're in, and if there's no digital connectivity to them
That's a good
as
point.
teenagers, it's
They should
why.
visit. They have VR.
No, they're not. No, they don't care about all that. They
No, I mean, it's
Yeah.
completely digital.
Right,
But
yeah.
they wouldn't know if they're not
Right.
there.
So it's more probably marketing to our high schools. Again, with the autonomy of the principals. A lot of times, the students that I engage with, it said they don't know. I get that a lot. They don't know that something is there, and they're looking for things to do that are interested. That you're talking about, but a lot of times they don't know that things are going on, or it's in one particular area that they may not be aware of. So those are just.
Yeah. The principal's not always the right person at the high school level. Who would y'all recommend would be a good point of contact at the high school? Career coordinator?
Student leaders, they're the
Yes.
best advocates for
It is
themselves.
student government.
I see both your names.
Yeah.
I got to tell you that I think we're all perplexed at why students are not engaging in things. We've been in this room where students have presented and said, I didn't know anything about this particular program, and I know that schools are doing work to inform kids, but I still haven't put my finger on it in terms of what's missing when we still hear those examples of not knowing it, and we're doing all the outreach. It's just something I haven't quite figured out yet. I don't know what the disconnect is, but I know we're doing it, but for some reason.
We could always ask students.
Well, I was just about to say that. I mean, that's literally the group I met with last night. There were students there, and a large part of it is, so I talked about the gaming that's available, the VR. They didn't know because guess what? Parents and adults relate to students, the academic side of it. I mean, seriously, most of the kids, one, I was talking about Pierce Manor specifically because it's in Garner, and when I went there, I was like, no, they have gaming. They actually have gaming chairs. And the kids saw this as a place that we go do our homework and adults tell us what to do. So to your point, we did have student input last night, and a large part of it was what they understood it to be. The second piece, actually, which we'll talk to our Hispanic Latino colleagues, is we had parents and students say, especially for those who English is their second language, they didn't fully understand what the offering was. And I mean, I had an amazing parent provide a lot of great input of, just the words that we were using wasn't translating to what the offering really was. So that was also great feedback that I got last night.
That's great. Thank you.
Ms. Caulfield and Ms. Emmons.
I'm just wondering about, speaking about like promoting it and us getting that stuff out there. Sometimes it takes the parents to actually pull it up on the website. They don't know to actually look for it to pull it up. What if we were to do some kind of marketing where it was like a commercial almost? And then you actually can see the kids not only doing it in activities of all different ages, but then you actually can interview some of the kids of all different ages for them to say what they like about it, so that these kids can relate to that person and say, hey, wait a minute, that's an option, maybe I can do that. Because some kids, they just don't want to play sports, so they don't want to be in those type of things, so they don't necessarily fit in the clubs. So how do we get the kids that kind of fit, that don't fit into those two kind of boxes? And that might be it, just for them to actually see it in person. We could put it in homeroom or advisory. Not all of them have it, so maybe we can do it in like the media center, have something that's playing when they first walk in on one of the, the boards or something. Just a thought.
Monique, if I can, that's a good.
Absolutely, please do.
Not transition, but segue, to say one of the things that Kim and I have talked a lot about, and once we get through our attorneys, we will move forward on, is with a district of this size, and we like to say we're a small district, but we're not. We're a very large district. It's really complex to figure out how to do what, right? Do you talk to communications? Do you talk to Title I? Do you work, who is it that you need to figure out who to talk to get something done? And so we've talked about having a small committee that just supports the various Y programs, so that when something comes up, we don't have to figure out who to talk to, right? That there's somebody there that Kim and other folks can go to say, okay, well, this might not be in Ken's area, but this is in Lisa's area, this is in this area. And so I think, Matt, when you ask that question, I think that's also something that could probably benefit the Boys and Girls Club.
Without a doubt.
Getting a group of folks together to kind of help troubleshoot some of those problems that may seem big, but there's ways to do everything in this district. You just have to know the right person to talk to get it done. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you for acknowledging that is room to grow. Yep. Thank you. Rita.
So can we please circle back to that taking away the bus, the transportation piece? That's huge. And just have that conversation as a full board, maybe in a work session or something, especially as it relates to our budget discussions once those get started.
And by taking away, I should say, it was when we reduced our bus routes. That's one of the routes that was reduced for families.
Okay, thank you. But, I still think that's clearly got to be a barrier. And as far as marketing and getting the word out, I know that we just opened the Family Academy location on Saturday. Can we incorporate these folks to either visit or, beyond just giving parents a pamphlet, perhaps have them go and present or just, however that looks, if we can incorporate, because I think that's probably a good targeted population that we would want those families to know about all these services.
Rango, could you make sure we reach out? Because I know we had a lot of vendors there at the camp. I don't know who all was there, a lot of tables, but if we could reach out to the YD Boys and Girls Club.
Definitely. I'm listening and my mind is going like 100 miles per hour.
So we might need follow-up conversations.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
And you and I are going to be working on that together soon. A lot of good things are happening with the Y.
One other question that I had for you all just is, I've seen some of the things that you all have been collectively advocating around gun safety and gun violence. And if there's ways that we as organizations can support some of those broader community education, community advocacy type efforts, that's, we have a lot of reach and connection to families. And if they hear it from you all and then also hear it from us, maybe it strengthens the message. So if we can support you in that, then let us know.
And I'll just add to that, if there are initiatives or things, yes, I mean, selfishly coming here, partnership requires a two-way street. We're here to help you. If we do our job the way we're supposed to, then the students are better in school. And then you can always lean on us if there are things that you need to do, whether it's education initiatives or whatever that the school board needs. I mean, just call, right? We're here to serve you as well. So thank you.
Actually, one comment, one question. I wanted to add to what I was saying before, that they could actually do some kind of advertisement or something, like we always have Meet the Teacher. As a lot of parents, don't necessarily come, but a lot of people do, so they might be able to get some more information if they were able to either make an announcement or provide some paperwork there for them to see. Do you use the Be Smart program at all, as far as the gun safety? Are you aware of that program? Because that's something that we all talk about, and it's a great program. They have a lot of really good information and data to share, and I think sometimes it really points out to the parents some of the things they just haven't thought about. So that might be a way that, because I know they hear it from us, so if they hear it from you too, they might, repeated information, it might make them look it up.
Okay, thank you both very much, and thank you for all you do, especially for our students, including academics, but also the fun stuff in hiring them as well, as someone who worked in youth programs growing up.
Thank you for all that you do.
Yes, thank you for what you do. Appreciate you.
And thank you, Ms. Liu, for, unfortunately, I'm so glad you're in here, because community use fee and now these small groups, thank you.
I don't mean to.
It's a great transition.
I will be listening. Yes, I'm sorry, I can't stay.
When you're ready, it's all right.
It's not you, it's me. And my kid, and not having a bus.
Right. So we will now welcome to the table our partners who specifically serve Hispanic and Latino communities. Y'all come on up and join. We will just get started in the order of the agenda. I think it makes the most sense if we start there, but I will ask first for everyone to introduce themselves and then to share a little bit about your organization and what it does, and then we'll just have open discussions and questions with everybody. So we will get started first with Maddie for Centro para las Familias Hispanas.
Yes, good job.
Yes.
Hello everyone, my name is Mati Ferrer Hoffman and I'm the director of Centro para Familias Hispanas. I'm also a member of Wake County Health and Human Services, so I like to wear that hat as well. And president of our Latino Alliance Pro Education and Health, which is also a Latino alliance doing a lot for the community in Wake County. That's it for now, right?
Just share a little bit about your organization.
Okay, so Centro para Familias Hispanas has been in Wake County for over 25 years. I don't know if you want to help me pass it around.
Sure.
We've been in this community. We're a program of Catholic Charities. We have 4 core services with many programs, but we do case management for families and children. We do immigration services. We have food pantry services, and also being Catholic Charities, we are champions on disaster relief, which, as you know, right now our whole staff is really busy with what's happening. And so as Centro para Familias Hispanas, we are offering the support for all Spanish-speaking survivors as they're going through all these terrible situations. And so through the working with families. We have so many different programs that I can outline later when I present.
Thank you. All right. Second, we will have Elizabeth Hickey and Ethel Vandergrift with El Centro Hispano.
Thank you. So good afternoon. My name is Ethel. I'm here with Lisbeth. We both represent El Centro Hispano. We are the largest and oldest organization in the state. Very popular, right? And we work on behalf of the Hispanic Latino community, of course, in Durham, Wake, and Orange County since 1992. Our mission is to support our families, our community, but also build these kind of bridges between organizations. And we are, of course, looking to engage our community more with the Anglo community and pursue more equity and inclusion. We work in 5 different, I'm sorry, if you would like
Yes,
to.
absolutely.
Thank you. We work in 5 different areas. Health and education is one, and we are both part of the education area. But we also work in the civic and community participation, community support, economic development, education with 12 programs, and community health. And you can see some big numbers there where we've been reaching out to the community and serving them in these many areas. And we can, of course, talk more about what we do specifically in our area too. Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Monica Collin with the Consulate General of Mexico.
Hi. Hello. Thank you so much for having me today. I know you. I know you. So I'm Monica Collin. I'm the coordinator for community, education, cultural affairs, and many other things at the consulate. As you know, we're a foreign government. What we try to do is help our community assimilate better into the society. And we give out information about every single program that we and other organizations have. Many people think that we only give out passports, IDs, but we do so many other things. And education is one of our biggest programs and priorities. So we do have something called our Window to Education. It's an office where people can have all the information about every single university, community college, school system that exists in North and South Carolina, because we serve 146 counties. We serve both states. So I can talk a little bit about that later. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, we have Derek Bird, the Family Resource Center of South Atlantic.
Thank you. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm Derek Bird. I am the Executive Director of the Family Resource Center South Atlantic. We are a nonprofit that has been in existence since 1995, so we're entering our 29th year, I do believe. We are a traditional family resource center where we provide family support, family strengthening programs, and we've served a lot of different families. Our target has always been working with marginalized communities. Here in Wake County, we also serve other programs. We also have services in other parts of North Carolina, particularly in the eastern part of North Carolina. I guess I'm sitting here because we have a program that particularly does work with Latino families, which is our HIPPY program, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. I did bring some brochures. We're in the process, I don't know how many I have, but we're in the process of relocating, so everything is in storage. So, but we have a number of different programs, as you will see in the brochure. Outside of our HIPPY programs, we've worked with juveniles who are involved with the juvenile justice system, and we work with the parents with our Parents and Wisely program. We also have done a lot of work around reentry, so we've worked with individuals who have experienced incarceration, and so we do work with them and getting them, helping them to get back into the community, getting employment, getting housing, and we do that in several different areas of North Carolina. And of course, we're very proud of the work we do with fathers. We have our Day-to-Day Dads program, and we also host the annual North Carolina Fatherhood Conference each June. So that's us.
Thank you. We'll go back through and let everyone share a little more about their organization and then open it up for questions. So feel free to get us started.
Thank you. So I'm going to share a little bit about the work that we've been doing with the Wake County Public School System, because we've been partnering with them for decades, well, since we started. I do want to go really quick with a few things that are in the flyer that is important, because a lot of your families are, on Medicaid services, food stamp services, and other services from the county. So we do help with assisting with applications for those services. We offer developmental screenings and referrals for educational programs for children. We are starting to relaunch a math tutoring program because as the ones previous to us, we know it's important to have an after-school program for children. We used to have it before the pandemic, and then we kind of like let it pause, but now we're relaunching it. And we have also a Pequeños Gigantes summer camp, which is one of my favorite programs. We have tax preparation services with VITA volunteers. Those are free tax preparation services for parents, for families. And those are like very important resources that sometimes the community doesn't know that we have, but the main important thing is that all those services are in Spanish, so the families can come feeling that they have that access. In regards to our case management program, we serve families. When families come to us, it's not just like, oh, thank you for coming here, go to this place, they're going to help you. We accompany the families. And when we accompany the families, we put them it's a partnership, as someone was saying earlier. We set goals together as to what they want to accomplish as families, etc. But we also not only accompany them, we advocate. So for many of your principals have heard of me, many of your school counselors have heard of me, because if we know there is an injustice happening with a family, you should know that Centro Profe Hispano is going to be there knocking on doors and checking what's going on, right? And so we've been doing it I've been the director for 10 years, and ever since we've been advocating for families. Sometimes it turns out that it was just a misunderstanding, language came in to be a barrier, and the teacher didn't understand what the mom said, etc. So that's how we realized that we can come and be an advocate and help, conflict resolution. But other times it really turns out there has been an injustice, and so we do come forward and call it out. And thankfully, your office here, Maria Rosa, has helped us a lot with some advocacy as well, and things always get solved. So that's great to report. In terms of partnership with the Family Academy, of course, with Maria Rosa's leadership, we've been able to partner for a decade or more with bringing the Family Academy to families in Spanish. We have done it virtual. Before the pandemic, it was in person, and now finally this school year we have come back again to do it in person. So we're excited about continue that partnership to invite, not only have the Family Academy, but the workshops are in Spanish, and so that's a great space where families can actually, have these presentations in their language. We do referrals for little kids, because one of our main goals with a program that we have for children 0 to 5, funded by Smart Start, we want to make sure that kids are healthy and developmentally ready for kindergarten. We want to make sure that when we send the Hispanic children to you guys in kindergarten, they're ready. So we're going to catch them before that. We're going to be doing early intervention services. So if we do a screening and the child is not speaking the way they should be, we're going to send them to Child Find or to CDSA so that they're ready before kindergarten gets here with any behavioral issue or developmental issue. We do referral to low-cost clinics for school physicals. A lot of the families are like, where do I send my child for a school physical? So we help them with that. Many newly arrived families, as you know, we have gotten an influx of families arriving to the county that are from other countries, and they don't know where to go. So when they come to us, we help them locate their base school. We help them sometimes, if we have time, we help them even applying online and register online. So that's already removing a barrier for access to the public school system. In case we can't, then we send them to the Center for International Enrollment. We work closely with them also to help and make sure that families end up being enrolled as smoothly as possible in the school system. We provide rent assistance when funds are available to families, and of course, if there is a couple that comes ask for funds but they don't have children, we're going to prioritize families with children. And so that's when the funds are available, we provide funding for that. Like I said, we're about to relaunch our math tutoring program. With the alliance that I mentioned before, ALPES, we are launching, this is our third annual event for mental health. As everybody was saying here, mental health is a big issue. And so in partnership with you guys, the school system, with Family Academy, we are launching this event on October 19th in Millbrook High School. So this is going to be having an impact. This is the only event in Spanish that is raising awareness, multi-agency effort in Wake County. And so it's called, how do you say it in English? Cuidemos nuestro bienestar emocional.
It's kind of like let's take care of our emotional
well-being. Well-being. So we don't want to call it mental health because nobody would come, so we call it emotional well-being. And so, yeah.
You say that in Espanol again.
Cuidemos nuestro bienestar emocional. Yeah, and it's going to be on October 19th at Millbrook High School from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So you're all welcome to come, although the event will be in Spanish mainly, but please do visit because it's going to be a great event. And we are hoping that a lot of parents from your schools, from the school system, can visit this event, can come to the event because we have planned it for adults and students. It's for high school, middle school students. As well, so we're going to have some topics. Actually, Maria Rosa will be presenting on topics that will be directly for teenagers. So we're excited for that, and yeah, so that's kind of like what we're doing, like to pinpoint exactly the work being done with families and the work we do with the school system. But of course, I would like to expand the partnerships that we can have with the school system. I would like to suggest that we can do some maybe listening sessions at our center, that you can count us as a partner. Sometimes I feel that the families, even though there is someone that speaks Spanish at the school, sometimes it can be scary, threatening to go to the school building. But if a school needs something, I know that you guys do a lot of parents' nights, school nights, and they invite all of us to these events, and we go and we have a table, etc. But sometimes it just takes like an intimate moment of families and teachers or principals or administrators to really just listen to what they have to say. And you probably have done it, but I do want to say that I would like to host listening sessions when necessary to address issues that Hispanic families need to talk about, need to discuss, need to digest. And in a large setting, even though you provide bilingual speakers, it's not the same. So do have us in mind if you ever need to do some kind of work like that. I would also like to propose ways to engage new children. This is just now we're in my proposals. My proposals is to engage the newly arrived children, because it's not just making it easy to enroll, welcoming them in the school system, but then once they're in, they're like in the shadows. They are not integrated because of the lack of language, the lack of cultural adjustment, right? They're just arriving. And so what can we do as a school system, and my center and all of us in this table, to make sure that these kids that have arrived have a soft entrance into the school, so soft adjustment, because I feel like for many, they're just going to stay in the shadows throughout the whole school journey. I've seen it when I go pick up my daughters. Both of my children are in public schools, and I love the schools where they're in, but I do see sometimes Hispanic children in those schools that they are just secluded to their own groups, their own circles. There's no integration. And so I do have a plan that I do plan to present to you guys. Hopefully, Dr. Chavis, I don't see him anymore, but I do have a plan that I've been thinking because of all I hear from families, where I think that We're talking about equity a lot, and it's important. Yes, equity is important. I feel like sometimes when we talk about equity, it's mainly from the lens of justice. But what about equity as a way of integration? What about equity as a way of socialization? We were talking about earlier how high schoolers are gone. We're losing our high schoolers to social media. That's the main one. That's the main one. We're losing them to TikTok, to all of those things. So just these kids are going to isolate because they didn't find they belong. They didn't find their place. So how do the board, how do us, nonprofits, come together to find a solution to this crisis and not allow isolation? Something we're not doing well, where our kids are being isolated. And so my invitation is like, let's create a space where we can talk about this and see how do we prevent it? Well, we're going to prevent it before they even hit high school. We got to start in elementary school. But if those kids are being left out already because they didn't learn the language, because they don't understand how things work here, they're going to be in the shadows. So I'm sorry, I think I probably past the time, but I just thought it would be my opportunity to speak. And my last thing, sorry, I just wanted to say, so I invite the board and all of you here, administrators, everybody, my colleagues. There is a great book, I don't know if you've heard about it already, but it's called The Anxious Generation by Dr. Jonathan Haidt. It's amazing. He's one of the few social scientists we have, I guess I would say probably in the world. And he's saying how we are losing our children. And so what can the school system and also agencies come together to address this anxious generation that can collapse? So I would like for us to explore ways, hopefully there is second follow-up conversations on this, because I would like to see how the school system, the board, and us leaders in the community come together to address what's happening. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm inspired.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you again for having us. I would like to reintroduce myself. I'm from Bolivia, very south in South America, and so I'm been here only 3 years, but I'm very passionate also for education and also for, being there for the people. When I knew about El Centro Hispano that existed, I was really encouraged and, inspired also to be part of it, and I'm very grateful I'm here today with you guys. So, as I said, since 1992 is 32 years working in the community, and a lot has been done, but a lot more can be done for our community. And if you go to, I think, the third page in the booklet I just gave you, you will see the many areas that El Centro Hispano works with the community. Although we are a small organization, we are almost 60, 70 people at the most. And and we do a lot. We have our hands everywhere.
Is this where you want it?
Yes, ma'am. You're correct. And you can see big numbers there for the amount of people that we reached on that fiscal year from 2022 to 2023. And if you go to the page 7, you will see even bigger numbers on the effect that we had with the community health area. That team really works hard towards the community. So we are very hopeful that we can engage more with the Wake County schools, as we have more than 60, in most of the cases in many schools, 60% of Hispanic population, and it's growing. I read a while ago a study that said that in 50 years we're going to have more. You see a lot more Hispanic population here in the States. So we all know it's important to work with the community and support them. And I just want to call your attention now to the education area, where we work, as you can see, in 12 different programs. We have the HISET, and I want to start with the tutoring program that we have. We work a lot with volunteers, students in colleges and universities that will support other kids in the school system. It's very hard to find bilingual volunteers, but we do our best and to connect with them with the level of student that they are supporting. We have the Leyendo program, which is reading. We go to schools and other institutions to read to kids 0 to 5. And it's a beautiful way to inspire little creators, but also to change the habits of the reading habits, that it's very hard nowadays, like she would say, like TikTok, social media really takes out of our time, a lot of our time. So we're trying to encourage that in kids and families. The summer camps where we try to connect STEM in part of the programs. It's also a great experience where we had a beautiful partnership with the Museum of Life and Science in Durham, where we were able to take the families to NASA. And Liz can tell you more in a little bit, as she led that experience. Then working with Plaza Comunitaria has been a very big blessing for people that didn't know how to read or write even nowadays. I recently had the opportunity to share with a lady that came to the office and said, hey, my kids are grown-ups now, it's my turn to learn. So it was beautiful to connect her with the program. She struggles a lot, as we can imagine. HiSET is also some classes that we give in Spanish so people can finally have the high school diploma. And we have computer and ESL, English as a second language classes, for now only virtual, the ESL, but we are looking forward to have that in person too in another organization, in other institutions. But the strongest area where we've been working with is parents, supporting families to connect, to really understand what's going on in the schools and their kids. And I think Family Academy and the support that we received from Maria Rosa has been amazing. Not only engaging in that particular program, but also connecting with us with other programs, connecting us with you as the administrators, with teachers, with the full community. So it's been an amazing work. I think as we struggle with a new language when we come, believe me, when I came 3 years ago, I wouldn't think I will be sitting here. You know, I started working as a teacher with kindergartens, and I gave my life to the kids. You know, like I will sing, I will jump. You know, being in the classrooms is amazing. I had a lot of tears too, saying goodbye to the kids, but I think what we do for them and that connection that we have, sometimes as we depart from the classrooms, we forget that that's the passion that should lead us, right? And the change and the engagement and the connection with the families, because we can work this through without them. That's why Family Academy is so important for us. Since we do this, or you guys do these workshops in Spanish, which is amazing. Of course, the language barrier is a limit working with the full community here in the school system, but we know that it's a problem and we are looking for solutions. Most of our personnel in El Centro Hispano are bilingual, so we're also here. We're always here for you guys if you need some support in your meetings or you want to connect more with the families. So I will let Lisbeth to share a little bit more about our programs. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Lisbeth Tengo no Hiki. I came 22 years ago from Colombia, Bogota, Colombia. And now that I'm sitting here, I think the reason how our God prepared us in different positions and careers that I have been, I've been many hats. As an immigrant, you have to carry many hats. I've been a physical therapy in Colombia, my country. Then I've been a teacher in Chatham County schools for 10 years. I've been also a chef for Farrington House. And these positions, I have learned so much from the community. And the reason that we are here is because of our community. We want to serve the best and give this best to our community. right? Understand the community takes time. You have to work with the community every day. You have to be for them. You have to listen to them. What do they want, right? And all the barriers that they're carrying in their lives, we have to be very connected with them too. What sometimes I'm in a transition right now from being the manager for the education department for El Centro Hispano. Now I'm the manager for the Spanish Language Institute. I'm also being a board of Mi Escuelita from Chapel Hill. And to listen to our community, and it's a pleasant sometimes because you learn from them. So many times I have parents that came to me and they sit with me and they try to kind of find a way or solution to their barriers, right? I mean, like we have this, thank you, but when so many times we need those, right, to listen to our parents. The work that Family Academy brought my script, right, and because it's important, sometimes we forget things, right, and I want to be, and I am honored to be here, and also working with Family Academy has been one of the greatest opportunities for El Centro Hispano working with them. We are delighted to share with you the incredible work that Wake County Schools, especially Family Academy, has accomplished in partnership with El Centro Hispano. This collaboration not has only strengthened our educational community, but also significantly empowered Hispanic family in Wake County. The Family Academy serves as a vital source. They are vital in our community, providing workshops and programs that focus on helping families understand the complexity of the United States education system. I was there one time, long time ago, 20 years ago. I was in those shoes of those parents when I didn't understand the school system. And not because I didn't go to school, I had my bachelor, right? But it's very complex to come to the United States and understand the school system. They are providing that service in our workshops. One of the standout initiatives of the workshop of parents, a program aimed at equipping parents with the knowledge and skills they need to advocate effectively for their children. This is important, how to advocate for their own children, right? And those workshops have been tremendous, accomplish all those issues that the parents bring to us in our tables or in our workshops. Throughout this program, educators, parents have learned their rights within the education system and how to communicate with educators. We want the best relationship between the parent and the educator. I was an educator. I worked 10 years. I worked in elementary school, and my last 3 years was kindergarten. So I know that we want to have a wonderful communication and a relation with our parents because we are working for the children, right? And we want to see them to have many opportunities in their life and go farther. Have learned the rights and how to communicate with educators to ensure their children's needs are met. That's very important. By offering these resources in Spanish, in our own language, is a key. We have so many barriers, and I know most of our colleagues here know because we're being those issues too. I learned English, of course. I went in education that I had English from kindergarten to also my university. But to become a fluent in English, it takes time. And not also that, it normally takes 5 years for a person to be fluent in a language, right? But you have to work every day. And what happened with our communities? They work hard to bring food on the table. Sometimes they don't have the time to learn. Recently I was doing a ESL class. So many hats we have to wear. And I was teaching ESL class and listen to the parents. And now is my time to learn. because during all those years that they were, being a parent for the children, they didn't have the time to learn. They didn't. They were working 12 hours, 10 hours, right? Ensure that language is not a barrier to participation. This inclusive approach has fostered a sense of belonging among Hispanic families who can now actively engage in their children's education. But this takes more to work. We want more work. We want them to be more engaged. We want them to be more participating in our activities. And it's not only one time a year, right, during the Hispanic Heritage Month. No, it has to be every day. And I have seen it with Family Academy, because I've seen all the activities that they have during every day. They have one with us on Tuesdays, but not only with us, with everyone, you're right, and other activities. The workshop have covered a wide range of topics, from understanding report cards to tips on helping homework, and even strategies for preparing the parent-teacher conferences. Some topics that we choose, and I hear my colleagues, one of the biggest topics that we need to work hard is mental health programs for our parents. I think between the year 21st and 21 and 22, what I was listening from the parents was mental health. Moreover, the Family Academy has partnered with the center to provide additional support in critical areas like reading and math. Sometimes we have those workshops too. Together, they have organized community events that not only promote academic success, but also celebrate the rich cultural heritage of our Hispanic community. And this work is not only one time a month, it's every week. We have an invitation from Family Academy. And this is great, because we have the opportunity to bring those resources to our community. Yes. I want to have more, but I want to.
Thank you. I just want to finish up inviting everybody to our upcoming event. We have a Hispanic Heritage Book Fair coming up on from November 7th, 8th, and 9th. And it's going to be open to the public on the 9th. It's going to be at Marbles Kids Museum. I'm sure everybody loves the museum.
Yes.
So it's going to be in one of the salones. The rooms, one of the big rooms near the IMAX, the movie. So please come, and I hope I can connect with some of you to share the invitation to your families. We're going to have books in English, bilingual, in Spanish, art and music presentations. Some famous painters are coming to, maybe they will paint, while we are on the event. So, let's work together towards more of this. Thank you.
Thank you. So, what I want to start by saying that the consulate is a bridge between the community, the Mexican and Hispanic community, because we serve everybody, not only Mexicans, between the community and the Wake County Public School System, the organizations. So we all work together. We're nothing without all these organizations that are always helping us to be able to help the community. So just to talk a little bit about the window to education, as I mentioned, we, because of transparency, we work with nonprofit organizations, and North Carolina Society of Hispanic Professionals is the organization that manages the window. And what we do is try to help families navigate the educational system. It doesn't matter if it's elementary school, middle school, or university, community college, etc. So we give out information to the families and specifically to the parents, because the parents have to know where their children are going, what they're doing, and most of them are afraid. As we said before, they really don't understand the system, so they don't know what to do, who to approach. So what we try to do is just refer them and let them know that there are people that can help them, and also give them the information, and as we usually do, we work with Family Academy, of course. It might seem like we're here helping Maria Rosa, so she doesn't lose her job or something, but it's the truth, you know. It's Family Academy has helped us a lot because they've helped us to go to the different places where we didn't know we could, you know, go or participate in. And so we're going there, providing all this information for the families, and it helps us to reach out to the parents in their own language, as we said before, and also to let them know that they have to participate, that they have to go to schools, they have to be part of the PTA, they have to go to all these different festivals where teachers are, where they have meetings with the teachers. They have to go there because even if the language is a barrier, I know schools have a translator and they can help them. So that's what we really do, try to target the parents. And it doesn't matter if it's kinder or 12th grade. We work with Project Enlightenment. We have about 350 people each day at the consulate, and we have about 10 organizations each day helping us to provide all this information. And it's not only education, it's health, it's financial literacy, it's empowerment, everything that helps our community thrive. So all of these organizations come and they give out information. We take advantage of the fact that people are already there waiting on a document for maybe 45 to 1 hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour, and so we give out the information and help them, you know, approach all these different organizations. Something that I want to highlight is the Centro Hispano talked about a Plaza Comunitaria. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's Mexican. The Mexican government has a program that it's an on-site educational center. We work with community colleges, community organizations to have the plazas comunitarias, that's what we call them, and it's a space where people can learn to read and write, finish their elementary or middle school education. And we had one with Washington Elementary. It was the first elementary school that had Plaza Comunitaria. And so, unfortunately, they don't have it anymore. But it's a great idea to have the kids come to school and have the parents learn with them at the same time. So, so I want to encourage you to please think about having another Plaza Comunitaria in any other of your elementary, middle, or high schools, because it's a great idea to help parents learn at the same time that their children are learning. We also have something very important is our Science Day with the Mexican Global Network. These are Mexicans that are working in different businesses. They themselves work in different universities, UNC, Duke, you name it. But we have them working with us, with the consulate and other organizations to be able to promote STEM among children. And so we had, for the first time after 8 years, our Science Day with the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences. And it was a great success. We had more than 6,000 people on that day, and it was amazing. So we're planning on having it, of course, next year again there. I think we have to create cultural awareness. That's what I think is very important. We sometimes get letters from parents that talk about how their kids are being bullied at school and what we can do. So we reach out to that county public school system. But I think it's just about being a little bit more aware of why we are the way we are. We Mexicans, we Peruvians, we Bolivians, whatever. And what we do is, as I said, try to help people to navigate the system. And something else that I wanted to let you know is that we do partner with different schools and universities to promote literacy. We have a program with NC State. So NC State students that are learning Spanish as a second language come to the consulate every day for 4 hours and help us read with children. And it's a win-win situation because they are learning Spanish, but they're helping our kids speak Spanish and not forget about it, because sometimes they want to fit in. They don't want to speak Spanish anymore. And so we try to reach out to the parents too to let them know that it is so important to be bilingual. or trilingual, whatever, multilingual. But so these students are helping us, and it's been wonderful. We've been doing the same thing with Wake Up and Read. We have books in Spanish, in English, bilingual, and that is something, that's one of my favorite programs, because I think we're helping many students, not only the Wake County Public School System students. And so I want to finish up saying that we want to thank you for everything you do, and I think this is wonderful to have us here, talk to you about what we think, how we could work together, what we could do, and I think that we can do many things, starting with schools, especially, I always talk about this, with counselors, because I know that students reach out to their teachers, but when it's time to go to a university and not drop out, and helping them not drop out of high school, they go to their counselors. And so I think that counselors need to have all this information and need to be more culturally aware of what's going on with our community. So thank you so much.
Last but not least.
Yes, of course, indeed.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about our HIPPY program. HIPPY is Home Instruction for Parents of Preschool Youngsters. It is an international program, and we were very fortunate to be able to get the license to be able to provide this service here in Wake County. We are the only organization in North Carolina to provide this program. We are a funded partner of Wake County Smart Start. It is a home visiting program. It was really meant to be a parent-to-parent peer program where parents are trained to work with their youngsters, and then they also in turn become parent mentors as well. But Wake County Smart Start insisted that we hire professionals, so that's what we did. So we have 4 family support specialists who are bilingual, who go out into the community and work with families for 30 weeks. It is a 30-week program where we go in weekly to work with families, and the premise of the program is for the family support specialist to provide the role play and teach the parent the skills that they in turn will then teach their preschool youngsters. We serve children as young as 2 all the way to 4. And so then once we do that, we're able to process with the parent, how they have, their experience in being able to teach the skills to the youngsters, and then they continue to practice and repeat those skill building activities each week. And then so at the end of the year, we have a big graduation. I know Rosa has been one of our speakers, and so we have like 250 people in the room. So it's just a great event, and it is just so gratifying to see a lot of the young children being able to leave the program with being school ready, having some social emotional skill sets as well, and in tracking some of these kids as they go into kindergarten or start pre-K, they usually are performing much higher than other kids in the classroom. So we're very proud of that. We've been doing this program now for 10 years. And the majority, we serve around 50 to 55 families each year. And I will say about 80 to 85% of those families are Latino families. And they are just wonderful to work with. And very engaged, very interested in being able to have this program for their students. And then each year, if they have a preschooler that's eligible, once we finish with the first kid, then they come back and make sure the second kid or the third kid is in the program too. So we have a lot of families that are just kind of continually engaged and involved in the program each year. So that's what we do. And so a lot of our programs, we have, I would say we have tried to be intentional in working and partnering with Wake County Public Schools. Sometimes that's been great, sometimes it has not. But I would say that, what has been consistent, and again, I know you're going to pay us afterwards, right? So what's been consistent has been, the relationship that we have had with Maria Rosa and with the Family Academy through our Parenting Wisely program, probably for the last 10 years or so, we have always partnered with Family Academy to host a lot of parent workshops for our families. And we also participate in a lot of the resource fairs that Family Academy does in some of the elementary schools throughout the year. So I would say that basically, as a result of just the relationship that we've had with Family Academy program and particularly with Maria Rosa, that we've had a very solid relationship with Wake County Public Schools, and I really wish that we had something even more deeper with other schools and other programs throughout Wake County Public Schools.
Thank you. You landed where most people do, so I will start with the board to ask questions. Chair Haggerty.
Well, Mr. Byrd, I'm going to take you up on that one.
Okay.
Stopper. In all seriousness, the work the Family Resource Center Southland does is fantastic. And I know that you oftentimes can't do more without more resources, more funding coming in. But about 9 or 10 months ago, we had a meeting at Southeast Raleigh High School, actually when we were talking about filling the vacancy for the district, for the District 4 representative, and we heard a lot of different community concerns. And one concern that came up was there's not a real organized effort right now to help students who are suspended but are looking to return to school. And I didn't know, with your the educational work that you do, if that was something that you could ever see Family Resource Center getting involved in, or if you've worked with other organizations that you would recommend as potential partners for that work.
You want to answer for
No, I'm asking you.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I didn't say a word.
No, I think, that has always been one of the things that the Family Resource Center have always wanted to be engaged in. Through our Family First Community Recovery Project, we have part of our service delivery is to work with students who are having difficulties and challenges in schools. Whether it's academic or disciplinary issues or what have you. And I do a workshop where I teach parents how to raise achievement through school advocacy. We go through all of the different policies and procedures, and so that they have a very clear understanding of what it takes to be able to make sure that their children are successful. So we talk about absenteeism, we talk about homework, we talk about special education process, we talk about the student discipline policies. So yes, we're ready and set to go.
So, Madam Chair.
You keyed him up because I thought he was going to leave with that request.
No, because that is something where, the community need is obviously there. And it's just a matter of activating the partnerships to make it happen. But I just wanted to get a statement at the table and on the streaming out there for the public that there is this interest and there is perhaps the capability.
Yes.
And something that should be explored. All right. Thank you. I have one other question.
Absolutely.
And this is from our friends, primarily at El Centro, but I think the Council, you mentioned a little bit about it, the STEAM activities, and also in the El Centro annual meeting, or annual report, it also says computers. So what resources do you have within your organization to provide the camps and teach classes? Do you just partner with groups like the museum, or do you host activities? Do you have staff that could teach the activities? If we had parents that needed digital literacy classes in Spanish, parents, for example, is that something you have offered, or what can you tell us about this?
Well, so this program is absolutely free and it's online for the parents.
Okay.
So this is provided by the Ministry of Education of Mexico, and it's specifically the Center for Adult Education. So everything is online. The only thing we need when we have this program, the Plaza Comunitaria program, is the space, the computers, and we'll provide everything else. So the teacher, it's a volunteer, so we do need someone that, a teacher who might be able to do this. And everything is online, homework, all different testing, and at the end, the person, it doesn't matter where they're from, again, as I said, but it is in Spanish, so they have to know that it has to be in Spanish. But at the end, they will get a certificate from the Mexican government to go on to their high school education, etc. So something that's been working really well is that people that finish their elementary go into high set or GED, and then they can go to community college. So this is like a dominoes effect, because what we're trying to do is not let people know that they can finish their whole education, their whole 4 years of university if they start with this. So it's absolutely free. It is in Spanish, and we just need a volunteer and a space.
And that's exactly what we do. Like, we work together with the whole system that they provide. And we have the person that is there to support the parent or the families that need to learn. So that's how it works. But you were also asking about our computer skills program, right?
Yeah.
So working with kids, Elizabeth has more experience in what we did before, but towards next year, we're looking, we just got a big grant that will support us, that will help us engage with the parents in a different level, all for free, with basic computer skills. We do have a lab in our facility in Lakewood, Durham, where it's not that big, so but the need is there. That much that we had to open a new class on Saturdays, so people can, during the week it's difficult to do work and also do classes. So we have, at the moment, 23 parents in the basic computer skills class. And next year we're going to expand even more. And STEM for kids.
So that's one of our goals, expand, because this is number one barrier for our community. Computer life skills. They don't have the computer at home. They use cell phones to have Zoom classes. Sometimes they don't have internet in rural areas. So the need is tremendous, right? So we have a center, right? And we are working in our computer class, basic computer class, but we want is another space. We would love to go to schools that they already have a computer lab that is bigger than ours. We only have right now 10 computers. But we love, because we're ready to teach, we're ready to instruct. We have done it many times for our community, but we want that space, and it's important, that space. Now, that's for computer skills. Now, for the STEM, we have a wonderful partner with the Museum of Life and Science in Durham. Right now, we are working with 3 projects with them. One of the first projects was, it's long, the name. It's a Spartan Interest Science for Hispanic Families. And this is from NASA. This is not only for the Museum of Life and Science, but this is the interest from NASA to bring those curriculums in STEM for families, not only for children, it is for families. Because that's where we know that the children see them every day, right? So because we know that the children see them every day, the families, they need to know the concepts and the knowledge of these programs in science. We were able to bring 40 families to NASA, to Langley, Virginia. And we choose them from all over the Triangle. So we have students from the Wake County, we have students from Orange County, we have students from Durham County, because we want it all. And this is expanding more. And how we expand this more is because the museum give us memberships for our families, right? It's part of the grant too. And these memberships not also help us to kind of give the parents incentive to the parents, but also to go and bring their children to have family activities with them. We have the night, science night. We have all these programs that we just made, like for example, Leyendo con el Centro. At the end, we closed with a big celebration in the Museum of Life and Science. We gave them the membership, and that gave an opportunity to go and learn more, right? We also have family, our parents from Family Academy, we bring them to the science. Where parents from Padres Comprometidos, we bring them to there. So we have to make a connection with our programs and the partnership that we have with the Museum of Life and Science. Also, sorry. I'm very passionate about this.
No, but I know we're running out of time and somebody's getting frustrated.
Yes,
So Centro para Familias Hispanas, for a long time we were partnering with Wake Tech, and we were providing digital and literacy classes for free, and with a partner with the Consulate of Mexico and Wake Tech. We also provided scholarships, especially to Mexican nationals, so they could do it for free. So now, because Wake Tech is so close to our building, it made sense to just refer our clients to them. So we're still referring clients to Wake Tech and for classes. Their classes are not really expensive, but there are some scholarships that Wake Tech can provide for families, and they can do the classes in Spanish, and so we can refer those families there as well.
And they donate computers too.
And they donate computers, yeah. And there's other organizations sometimes that can also donate computers.
Thank you.
Oh, no, I don't have a question. I like to make a statement.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for joining us. You all are a wealth of information, and again, I'm starting to believe that maybe my committee should have been 3, because every time we have such a wealth of information. One, mostly some we know, some we just don't know, and I certainly learned a lot today. So thank you for your time. Again, you all already know, as the children say, you already know the plug. That's Maria Rosa Regal, so you all made that very clear. However, we also heard 2 very clear requests directly to us, which are similar to everyone who sat at this table with us, and that is access to our decentralized school system in a way that the programs that you are offering, that we can expand. And I'm, you both, Ms. Bryce and Derek, chuckled because I think that's the first thing you said to me when I got on the school board is, we got a program y'all will let us do. So I feel like it was full circle moment. Ms. Rice, before I close this out.
Yeah. Oh, no. We chuckled with Derek because he and I have been working on this since the beginning and the inception. He says, Toshiba can answer the question because we've been fighting for these things for 20 years. One thing that I love to say about Family Resource Center Mid-Atlantic is the reason the inception of Family Academies came from Derek and myself doing these academies in the community. Maria Rosa came in and she just brought in a fountain of wealth and knowledge and said, hey, we need to be doing this in the system. And she moved forward on that particular piece, and we see the great things that's come out of it ever since. So I'm very excited to hear about your programs and very excited to be able to partner however we can, particularly in the areas in the district that I might be in, to offer that support. And if no one doesn't, I'll hold Mr. Haggerty accountable to what you just said today so that we can make it happen, okay?
Okay. Right.
All right. Thank you all so very much. Again, thank you, Regal. And thank you, Dr. Alfred Keith and Dr. Robinson, for making all of our wishes come true at this table of all the things we need to hear.